Alright guys, today we're going to go over something that was requested in one of my comment sections, and that was some tips on picking, building up speed for more like shredding type picking and fast picking, and so I'm going to go over that today. It's a lot more involved than most people realize with picking, even down to what type of pick you're using. So we'll start from the very beginning. I'm using a Jazz 3 XL pick. It's a 1.43 in thickness, I believe. It does not flex hardly at all, so I find that it's better if you use a pick at least a 1mm that doesn't really flex much. It's really going to help you with your speed, because when you think about it, if you have a thin pick, you're going to have that reaction time for that pick to get back to straight. So when it's flexing, there's that micro little bit of time it takes for that pick to come back to straight is going to affect your accuracy with your picking. So that's why a thicker pick is better for accuracy and speed for fast picking. I've been using these for a couple years now. They're great. Next, I guess we'll go over hand positioning. I see a lot of beginners picking, say if you're picking on the E string, I am tuned a whole step down, so this is D standard. But I'll see beginners, let's say they'll pick here, say you're picking on your low E string, and they just rotate their wrist. See that? Picking here, and then they're just kind of, see how just your wrist is rotating? When you're moving from string to string, when you're picking fast, you want to actually move your entire arm down. So instead of going, it's move that arm up and down with whatever string you're on. So if you're, say you're up here, here's an example. I'll do it the first way. It's already hard to even do it. Now I'm going to move my arm with it. See how my hand is moving, my whole arm is moving in the direction I'm picking, and not my wrist rotating. Speaking of wrist rotating, the angle at which you hold the pick has a lot to do with how accurate, how fast you can be. You don't want to pick at a perfect perpendicular straight up and down. You want to tilt your pick ever so slightly so it's more at like an angle when you're picking. So here it is straight. Angle it a little bit. So here's straight. It's catching on the string pretty good, and it's hard to go through the string kind of effortlessly. It's kind of getting caught. Tilt it a little bit. And I don't leave a lot of my pick sticking out when I'm picking. It's see how much? Just a very little bit. I'm not picking with this much pick out. I have it gripped up pretty tight. And I'll go ahead and disclose this too. I know we're a couple minutes in the video, but I'm not necessarily telling you this is the right way to pick. This is just the way that I do. So if people want to say that I'm picking wrong or whatever, that's completely fine. I'm just giving advice on how I do it. But going back to the lesson here. And also, it's a good practice when you're moving up and down the strings, picking on all 6 strings, when you're moving your hand and your whole arm to follow the strings you're playing, resting your palm on the upper strings that you're not playing, it mutes them. So as you're playing, when I get to here, my palm is actually resting on these strings, except for that last one. Sorry, the video stopped there for a second. I'll cut it in. So yeah, using your palm down here to utilize your muting. Now we'll go over a few patterns that can, or practices you can do to help build your speed. We're going to use the C major scale pattern, which remember I am a whole step down, but which is D standard. We'll start on the 8th fret and do 8, 10, 12 on the E and A string, and we do 9, 10, 12 on the next two strings. And the last two, so the B, high B, or the high E and B, 10, 12, 13. That's always, I've always used that one to kind of help build up my, it's a 3-note per string pattern. There's 3 notes on every string, and each set of strings is the same grouping, same fret grouping. So just practice going slowly. Just up numb that and scale, and then do different patterns. So instead of going up and down the entire 6 strings, like do 3, and do the top 3, and do the 2 middle, do different, like instead of going that's a good one to learn. But let's see, think of some other things real quick. Also, it's a good idea too to practice without even picking, just doing the fret hand, because your fret hand accuracy is going to affect your picking accuracy down here too. So, you know, take this hand. I like to mute it like a Steve Vai, you know, doing, you know, and then do the skip. Build up your left hand to where they're hitting the frets, you know, really good. So this hand, you know, can be more accurate down here. Muting with the hand is very big, like I said. A lot of times I'll do muted runs. I think it sounds cleaner. But I can do it without it too. Or I'll mute the thick strings. And by the time I get to the thin strings, I'm, you know, not muting. But you know, practice your legato, like I said, as well. You know, do the same C, but just pick once per string. Instead of doing that one. I guess we can do another video of doing sweep picking and pinch harmonics and other advanced things like string skipping. But that's just the basics of picking. And you want to limit your hand motions too. Don't over exaggerate your picking. You know, the least amount of movement it takes for your hand, the better. So, like if you're doing some thrash metal, I mean, just as much movement as needed. And just sit there and practice building up your speed. And like I said, main points of the video: the pick you use, getting a little angle on your pick slant, not using too much motion, range of motion in your playing. Just use what motion you need to play. Getting your left hand locked in as well. Muting with the picking hand and moving your hand with whatever string you need, so that your picking never changes, your wrist position never changes. So I believe that's going to do it for this lesson here. Like I said, I can do a follow-up lesson on sweep picking, pinch harmonics, string skipping, any other picking I can think of, hybrid picking, and more advanced things like that. But thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful and informative, and stay tuned, and thanks for watching.